Swinging a high drive into center field. Hits at the wall. It is gone! Costas does it again. It's gone! It's into the bullpen! This game is tied! This game is tied!
He swings and rips one to center field. It's high, it's deep, it's back, it's gone! Sale winds, he fires. Swing and a miss, strike three, it's over! The Red Sox have won the World Championship!
Hey-o, welcome back to Play Tessie. It's episode 94. If you're listening on drop day, it's July 12th, episode 94. We do have a player for this one. It's Dalia Hinojosa, everyone's favorite Red Sox player of all time. This is the official podcast of Running Into Your Buddies at Tasty Burger, also known as the official Red Sox podcast of WEI. Before we get going, remember, hit that subscribe button, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, or the Odyssey app. Hit the subscribe button. Rate us 5 stars. It helps us out a ton. Check us out on YouTube as well. And search for the Play Tessie playlist. We're on the WEI YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up on those videos. We appreciate it when you guys do that. Hit us up on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. We are here following the A's series in which the Sox took 2 out of 3. I'm here with Sammy. I'm here with Pat. Fellas, it's just more. I don't want to say more of the same because every series is different. We feel different versions of oftentimes the same emotions after each series. The Red Sox are 51-41. They are a game up on the Royals in the wild card. Behind the Royals, the Red Sox are 3 games ahead of the Astros and 5.5 ahead of the Rays. They are just 3.5 games behind the Yankees. They were 14 games back of the Yankees. I have to pull up the date. I tweeted this out a couple of days ago, but it was less than a month ago. The Red Sox were 14 games back of the Yankees. They have made up 10.5 games with not just their hot play, but the Yankees' abysmal play. I mean, some people might... I'm curious how many people out there are legitimately upset that the Red Sox didn't sweep the A's, like that they're at that point where the expectations for the team are so great that like they're upset about a not sweep. The way I see it is the way Cora sees it. You go series by series, you win a series, you're happy. You lose a series, you got to move on to the next one and win that. They beat the A's in the series, scored a lot of runs in the first and third game. I was really happy with what I saw, especially in the third game. Sammy, Pat, vibe check. How are you guys feeling about it?
I'm feeling good, and I was pretty nervous heading into this game, which I know sounds a little silly because it's Tanner Houck versus the Oakland A's, but that's exactly why I was nervous. You can't lose this game on Thursday as we record. You got your ace, you're at home. You got the Royals coming in next. You have to win this game, and the Red Sox didn't just win. They dominated this game. 7-0, exactly what you need. Yeah, it sucks that they won the middle game, but they won 5 out of 6 games against Oakland. They did what they needed to do this year against a lowly Oakland club. So, I feel awful for the A's and their fan base and everything. But if you're the Red Sox, you're feeling good, happy with a series win regardless.
Yeah, I'm with Sammy. I mean, series win's a series win, but at the same time, I was the same way. I was like, if they lose 2 out of 3 to Oakland, the spin zone that's going to happen on Twitter and through radio and social and all that. Like today wasn't a must win, but it was like a please win. We kind of need this series.
Yeah, that would have been that had
I'd like to feel good.
Yes, sorry, Pat. That had like disaster written all over it, just in case if they had lost. Oh God, that would have been up there for one of the worst losses of the year, but they didn't. Thank God. It felt like a game that they would have lost last year and the year before. One that they're expected to win. It's very important. They're at home. They would have lost like 4-1 last year. Just the offense wouldn't show up. Pitching would have been not great. Oh God, it feels good. I like this team a lot.
Well, yeah, no, and to piggyback off of your guys' points, and Pat, you're talking about how important it was that they win the third game of the series. If they had lost that third game, you are now tied for the final wild card spot. They would be 2.5 back on the second wild card spot. They would be playing the team that they're tied for the wild card spot in the final series before the All-Star break. So that means if you lose that series to the Royals, you are now out of a playoff spot heading into the All-Star break. We're all feeling like crap for the break because we were all so excited on such a high that they got into a playoff spot, that they were multiple games up on a playoff spot. After the first game of the series, they were 2 games up on a playoff spot to then enter the All-Star break not in a playoff spot. And I guess I'm like jumping all around because I'm assuming they lose the third game to the A's and then lose the series to the Royals. But you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position if they didn't win this third game against the A's. Now, it's not, and we'll talk about this Royals series coming up. We'll get to it in the back half of the podcast. But I feel like if the Red Sox had lost this third game, the Royals series almost feels like it's a must-win series. And to me now, it's just a must-not-get-swept series.
Yeah.
And there's some tough pitchers that they're facing. The Royals offense is hot. We'll get into it, but this is going to be a hard series coming up. And it was definitely important that the Red Sox bank at least 2 wins against the A's heading into it. Now, the only way that the Red Sox do not have a share of a playoff spot going into the All-Star break is if they get swept. So hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't have that mindset of just don't get swept. I hope they win the series. But I mean, especially... And we'll get into the preview, but that first game. Well, before we get into that, I think game 2 of this Oakland series kind of exposed a need that we all agreed the Red Sox have, and that is a left-handed hitting. A bat to hit left-handed pitching, right-handed bat, ideally. So, never good to lose. But I feel like you lose like that. It's kind of like front office. This is what we've been telling you. Like they need a guy that can hit lefties. They can't hit lefties. So even the loss, you can take away some silver lining from it. Hopefully that message got sent, though. You never know with these guys.
It exposed 2 in my mind. It exposed you needed a right-hander that can hit lefties. And then also, if Pivetta is going to be volatile all season, you need another starting pitcher to lock it down.
Oh yeah, I mean that's even bigger need that you need. I think just 1. I heard some people saying 2 starting pitchers. I don't think
Kenley
you need
said
2.
Kenley said 2.
Oh, you know what? That's actually who I'm thinking of. Kenley said 2, and I remember with Bradfo, and I was kind of like 2. Man, just 1. I think it's not like the pitching they have is not good. We're just concerned about the innings and the workload in general. So, yeah. That was a good series. I know it's Oakland. People don't like it's like a lose-lose when you play Oakland. If you win, it's who cares. If you lose, it's double as bad. So whatever. They won the series. I'm happy.
You know, I want to go back to the first game because and Sammy, I know you were in the ballpark too. So maybe you can tell me if you felt this. And so okay, flashback to like 2016, 17, 18. The summer nights of just watching those really good Red Sox teams and like seeing young players come to the ballpark. Like Mookie Betts is like in his mid-20s and like he's got, Jackie Bradley, and later on Benintendi comes and like Devers then comes up. You've got all these kids coming to the ballpark. They really they don't know how good they are. They just go and they play the game and they play it well and they win. And it's like, these are awesome summer nights. It's just like, you can feel the freedom in that team. Like they haven't hit that stage of life where things get complicated yet. And I'm not saying I've hit that stage, but I know that when these guys, start hitting arbitration, hit their 30s, need to worry about, planning their families and their futures, life gets complicated. But when you're 25 years old and you're just going to the ballpark and playing ball, and that's all you really have to worry about, like, I don't want to say life is easy, but life is free. And you could feel it as a fan back then. And I felt like over the last few years, a lot of it had to do with the losing, because it's hard to feel the freedom when you're losing. But I just haven't felt that in a while. But at the ballpark in the first game of the series, for some reason, one reason or another, I felt that freedom. I felt that summer night at Fenway Park when you got a good Red Sox team. And it was capped off with Costas interviewing Dom after the game. Costas on the mic interviewing Dom without a care in the world. It brought back that feeling for me. And to me, it's just, you got to look what's in front of you. You got to look what's on the field. Who's taking the field every night? It's a good Red Sox team. It's a team that plays with an edge, but plays with aggression and freedom. People will complain about the Kyle Hudson send of Jamie Westbrook in game 2, which obviously was not a good send. But again, it does flow with the pattern of they play with freedom. They play with aggression. They're not going to care. They're going to play their game. And it's been so much fun to watch. And I have so much appreciation for it, especially, following the past few years that we've watched where you can tell the vibe isn't great at times. It's just a different thing with this team. It's different.
Gordo, I think that this team is exactly what you just described combined with the 2013 team. Because with the 2013 team, remember, coming into that season, not many people had big expectations for that Red Sox team. And it was for different reasons than this year. It wasn't like, oh, they aren't investing, the owners don't care. Back in 2013, it was like, these guys just aren't that good. They were bad in 2012. They sold off a lot of pieces. They're kind of rebuilding. But the bigger picture was, this team isn't supposed to contend. And as the season went on, as a fan, at least for me, I was a freshman in college. And I remember my friends and I watching all the games all the time thinking, okay, maybe this team has a chance, maybe. And then every night, game after game, it just built and built and built until it got to the point where we were like, okay, this team is good. We have to just admit this team is good. We didn't expect them to be as good as they are, but they are this good. Let's be happy and enjoy it. I'm starting to get there with the 2024 Red Sox. Now, the talent and the experience, not the same as 2013. You don't have David Ortiz. You don't have like Victorino, Napoli, a veteran pitching staff. You don't have that. But there's something about this team. I don't know how to describe it. Just the energy is different. These guys have so much fun, and we all have the luxury of being able to get these media passes and be around the team. And for me, at least, I didn't expect them to be so, friendly, nice, and loose. Just the way the offseason went in our little bubble here in Boston, it all felt so negative. Everything was negative. And then we get to spring training in Fort Myers, and it was the complete opposite. And I feel like that's just carried over. Now we're almost in middle of July, heading towards the trade deadline, and the vibes are still good. So at some point, the majority of this fan base is just going to have to admit in a good way that this is a fun team and they have a chance to make the playoffs and maybe even go on a run.
Yeah, I think another thing that plays into like the different vibes this year compared to the years prior. When was the last time we had a Sox team that had a legit identity? It was probably 18. These guys, their identity is they're the best athletes. They're the most athletic team in the MLB. I don't think that's crazy to say. And they're going to pitch well. So anytime you walk into Fenway now, you're going to see those two things. Last year, 22, there was none of that. There was just, maybe they have enough to string some wins together. Maybe they'll be a wild card team. Now you have two things that you can depend on and bank on. And when you have something that you're going to get when you go to Fenway and when you watch the Red Sox, it's so much better. It's so much better.
What was 21? Did 21 have an identity?
21, I think, was like a 13. They were just very good underdogs.
Yeah, I remember Garrett Richards at spring training. I don't know why Garrett Richards, they all said it, but Garrett Richards is the one that comes to mind. He's like, yeah, this team is way better than people expect. And coming off of 2020, I was like, yeah, all right. And then they actually were good. So anytime a player's ever said that since Garrett Richards did that, I've always read into it because I'm like, yeah, Garrett Richards said it in 21 and they were good.
And then he was like, I'm cold.
Yeah. Oh my God. He was such a little bitch about that. Oh my God. I hated
right.
That.
That was him, right? He complained. He was like, I can't pitch. It's too cold. Dude,
yeah, that was him. Dude, in April at Fenway, it's like you signed with you didn't get traded here. You signed in Boston. It's like
you knew what you were getting. Yeah, come on, man. You know what you're getting into. Also, it's much easier to pitch in the cold than hit in the cold. Hitting in the cold is true. Hell, man. That's brutal. But anyway, yeah, Pat, you said this is the most athletic team in Major League Baseball. People always complain about the draft process. Why are you drafting all shortstops? There you go. The best athlete on the field, and they can move around when they get older. And now you're seeing the fruits of that. So just everything feels like it's coming together. Not totally. We're still not there yet. The big three, Meyer, Teal, Anthony, they're still in the minors. Christian
that's
Campbell,
what's
not up
crazy.
yet. Yeah, it's like trending in the right direction. It feels really good. I'm not, as a fan, I'm not in a rush for everyone to get here and get ready. I'm just enjoying the process. And it feels good to see, like, you can see the process. You can see the mindset. Like a few years ago, we didn't have that. We were kind of like, I kind of see what Chaim Bloom's doing. He's stalking the system, but everyone's left-handed, and these guys, these pitchers all suck. That 2020 team, last episode we talked about Andrew Triggs, like guys like that. Just a bunch of random dudes. But now, years later, we're seeing what the plan was all along. with the whole front office, not just Chaim Bloom. And man, it's a joy to watch.
So, Sammy, you say you're not in a rush to like bring these guys up, or I assume you're also talking like bring guys back from injury, and you shouldn't be, because this team has proven that they can win games without rushing things. But it just is crazy to think about. Like take the best parts of the team that we're watching right now, and then add Tristan Casas to it, and then in next year add Trevor Story to it.
I mean, this year you're going to add Liam. You're going to have Liam Hendricks and Kenley Jansen in the 8th and 9th inning. Imagine if Hendricks is 80% of what he used to be. You have and then Chris Martin, Zach Kelly, Bernardino, Boozer. You have a sick bullpen like the Casas you just mentioned coming back. Who knows who they add at the deadline? Barring some meltdown, it's getting to the point where it's like you have to just fire everybody if they don't add. Like that, obviously that's tongue in cheek. You don't actually fire everybody if they don't add, but like I said, everything is trending in the right direction. I'm in no rush for it to hit like the crescendo of everybody's up and clicking. It'll get there, but right now I'm really enjoying this process.
Yeah, I mean, think about this year. Hopefully they trade for a starting pitcher. They're going to get Tristan Casas back. The bullpen is going to get healthier and better because, like, obviously, yes, Liam Hendricks, but you got to remember this team's also been operating without Chris Martin for a little while, and we'll see when he can come back from his injury, hopefully sooner rather than later. But, you know, maybe they get a right-handed bat too. But like,
it's even just Vaughn Grissom. Imagine if Vaughn Grissom comes back and starts hitting like he hit when he was with the Braves. You never know, man. Like there's a lot of and people will scoff at that, but like, I mean, Vaughn Grissom. This is just really quick tangent. If he were a prospect, he's still that age. He would probably be a top 5 prospect for the Red Sox, and we'd be looking at him a whole lot differently. Whereas the fan base right now is kind of like, oh, we traded Chris Sale for him, and he bugged me, all that.
Gotta give him time. It's like, imagine, because like even if this season's a lost season for him, which I'm willing to accept that it might be. It doesn't have to be, but it might be. But that he gets a reset next year. I don't know if his spot is going to be as open for the taking as it was this year, but as we've seen this year, at bats will find you if you play well. We saw it last year with Duran. If he can kind of turn himself into a utility-ish player. I know the Braves were teaching him left field. If he could play a little second base, third base, left field, maybe shortstop if they want or need, which honestly they probably won't need because next year they're going to have you guys that can play shortstop on this team. Like they'll have Story back, they'll have Meyer, they'll have David Hamilton, sit on Rafaela.
Like, yeah, I mean, right now your center fielder is playing shortstop. He looks great. It's awesome. It's an awesome problem to have where you almost have too many guys coming up that you think are going to be good and too many guys currently on the roster and you can't roster all of them. That's a great problem to have. That reminds me of the 2018 team right there. That I know this team is nothing like the 2018 team, but just having so much talent, and they're not there yet. Like I said, still in the midst of the process, but they're about to have a monsoon of young talent come in, and that is separate from whoever they trade for at the deadline and acquire in the offseason. And just like the next few years of Red Sox baseball should be very, very positive. Knock on wood.
But Sammy, that's what they're building towards. Like you say, like you're seeing like the buds. Like this is like almost like what we saw. Honestly, we're not even at really the point where like they were in 16. Like 2016, it was like the guys who are going to be that core had just come up and they were finding their way. Like we're at like the 2015 stage where like Mookie's still like, or maybe the beginning of 15 where like Mookie's still down and like Jackie is like up and down, hasn't quite found his way, like, and he's starting to find his way. And that's kind of Jarren Duran in this sense. And like, there's other guys in the minors that are about to come up and you're waiting for that. And then those guys are going to come up and that's when you become a playoff team. However, maybe this time around, maybe they're a playoff team before those guys come up. It's just, that's why and like, it's frustrating as a fan to watch them take a step back, but that's what taking a step back and prioritizing the farm at all turns does. Like Brad, I don't know if either of you guys saw this, but like Bradfo said it on the radio with me last weekend that the Dodgers tried this offseason to trade for David Hamilton. It's like, little moves like that, where it's like maybe the Red Sox could have gotten a bullpen arm for David Hamilton, but you keep David Hamilton. Like these guys that you see as like prospects, like, but maybe they're blocked, but they're fringy guys. It's like if you hold on to those guys, A, they could contribute for you down the road, but B, you could also trade them all at the same time to go in when your core is ready to compete, as opposed to going in for seasons where maybe you're probably not going to make the playoffs regardless, and then you're just wasting assets.
Yeah, they trust their development staff, and they should. I mean, the Red Sox, with at least position players, they have an unbelievable track record, in my opinion. I mean, you could just go down the list of bats that they've developed, guys who are here now and used to be. I don't know if either of you have read Alex Spear's book. It's like one of the 2 books I've ever read in my life because I'm an idiot. But if you've read Alex Spear's book, Homegrown, that's kind of like similar vibes. You just described it, Gordo. Like all the young guys that they like are starting to come up at the same time. And like you're starting to see it finally on the field at the major league level. And the difference, though, is that in Homegrown, it was like a guy here, a guy there. Mookie was a 5th round pick, I think, who just became one of the greatest players on the planet, and blah, blah, blah. But now it's like you have a 3-headed monster in AA right now, and it's just waiting to come up. And I mean, Kyle Teal's probably going to be in AAA really quickly. Marcelo Meyer might be right behind him. Roman Anthony's only 20. Yeah, 20. So he's probably not going to be up as quickly. But yeah, that's a great book, by the way. Alex Spear's Homegrown. Highly recommend that. If I can read it, you can read it.
I mean, going into next year too, like I will end it all if they don't, but let's say they don't add any pieces at the deadline. You go into next year with pretty much the same exact team, minus whatever, Pivetta, O'Neill. It's about it.
Jansen
and Martin. Jansen Martin, but you're adding a healthy Casas, a healthy Hendricks, a healthy Michael Fulmer, a healthy Lucas Giolito.
Story.
And a healthy Story, and a healthy Grissom.
And prospects.
Marcelo Meyer
and the guy. They're in such a good spot. It's crazy. They like. I don't
think. We nothing's guaranteed. Yeah, I mean nothing's guaranteed. It just feels arduous process. Like I hate to bring this team up, but you think back to the 2020 team and how bad and hard to watch, and that was during COVID. So I'm sure the 3 of us watched pretty much every game that season because there was nothing else to do. And goddamn, I mean, Verdugo was the star of that team. Tells you all you need to know. So, it's like I said, I'll say it again. I'm really enjoying the process. I hope it continues in this direction. And whatever happens this year, whatever, they're headed in the right direction. I'm fired up about it.
Yeah, like regardless of what comes of this year, they are just. It is going to be great, and it's because it's like you think about. Like the Christian Vazquez for Wilyer Abreu and Emmanuel Valdez trade, and the dividend, like how much flack Heim got for that trade at the time, and how many dividends it has paid this year alone with what Wilyer Abreu has done. And like you can look at this series, and we're going to get to the series MVP in a minute. I have to think a little bit more as we discuss, but Wilyer Abreu might have my vote for series MVP for his play in the series, and he is just such a complete player when his timing is right. It sucks that he got hurt when he did, but it feels like he's finally back on track. It's little things like that. 2020, they stunk, but doing that netted them Marcelo Meyer. I mean, 2021, they were good, and they added without really subtracting. Like they added Schwarber, but the guy they traded never ended up being anything. 22, they add and sell, but the guys they traded to get like Eric Hosmer, they traded Jay Groom, who's now suspended for gambling and is never going to be a big leaguer. Like they traded for Tommy Pham.
Gordo, I think another thing that you have to touch on is Hunter Renfroe was a big piece in 2021. He had everyone had the T-shirt of him with his cannon arm. He had some big home runs, and the Red Sox were like, "No, we're good. We're going to trade this guy. He's replaceable." And people hated that. And you get these 2 prospects. People hate that too. And now David Hamilton is like, I mean, I want that guy in the lineup every day.
He saved the trade. I mean, that trade seemed horrible.
Right. And the ability to identify a guy like Renfroe, who's good. We don't deny that. He's good. But he's nothing special. You can replace him with Adam Duvall shortly after, 2 years after. Similar player, 1 year, $10 million deal. Like the ability to identify these players that you can extract value from, whether it's on the field or in a trade, has been really impressive. And I think there have been a lot of doubters, and a lot of those doubters are, dissipating and becoming believers in this team. Still, you just have that old man in his crypt. If he would just loosen the wallet strings a little bit to let this front office really supplement, I think you're looking at a long-term contender for multiple years, but we'll see.
So we got to get to a series preview in a sec. But before we do that, we got to pick a Play Tessie Series MVP. Feels like we're picking a lot of these lately. Sox took 2 out of 3 in this series. It was an offensive barrage in the first game. I'm trying to pull up the home runs in this game. All right, home runs. We had Abreu. It was just Abreu and Dom. I just remember the back-to-back. That was it in the first game. And then the third game, that's going to be my vote. I'm going with Wilyer Abreu. He broke both games open. He had a big RBI in the third game and then a big home run in the third game. He obviously broke the first game open. Wilyer Abreu, man. I should have picked him for Crystal Bomb. Did one of you guys pick him? Sammy picked him?
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right,
sir.
Good for you, Sammy. A well-earned Crystal Bomb pick. I did not get a point this week, but Wilyer Abreu gets my vote for Play Tessie Series MVP.
I am going to follow your lead. I'm also picking Wilyer Abreu. There were a lot of impactful players in this series, but I think the timing of Wilyer Abreu's home runs is what makes him the series MVP for me. He was ice cold before the series, by the way. I think his OPS, if I remember correctly, was 780, and it went up by 30 points this series. So
wow,
you'll take that every time. It's good to see Thick Willie. You know who he's reminding me of? He kind of reminds me a bit, not a perfect comparison, but Trot Nixon, kind of like a very good, not a superstar, but a very good player, good bat, can bat him like 5th or 6th, plays right field, can also play left, good arm. Reminds me a lot of lefty, Trot Nixon vibes from Thick Willie.
I got to think of my Wilyer comp. Did Trot have an arm like that? I don't remember Trot's arm.
Trot had an arm, but I don't think it was quite like Thick Willie has a nuke. But it's not.
Yeah, his arm's crazy.
If you played right field in the early 2000s, you had to have a good arm. That was like the biggest trope ever. You have to have a cannon if you're playing right field or third base.
Like Ichiro and Vlad. Remember Ichiro and Vlad's cannons?
Vlad had a
my
rifle.
God. Yeah, both of those guys just freaks. In a
All
good
right,
way.
Pat, who are you taking, Pat? Series MVP, who you got?
I'm going Yoshida.
Ooh.
5 for 11 in the series, home run, double, 5 RBI, and he played all 3 games. Wilyer only got 1 pinch hit AB in game 2.
Pat, I love your boldness, especially knowing that your vote was not going to give Yoshida the MVP.
Yeah.
But he deserves his praise because you know what? Yoshida has been
red hot.
Yeah, he's hot. He's hot. And a lot of it just has to do with getting the bat on the ball in a way that doesn't drive it right into the ground to hit it towards the right side. He's been getting the ball in the air more, hit a home run in the third game off a lefty. Love to see it.
Oh, how about that swing? That was sick. The follow through, that really long follow through. That ball. So I was at the game today on Thursday. That Yoshida ball was 700 feet into the air. That was like so high in the sky. It felt like it was flying for 10 minutes.
Also carrying.
Super deserving as well. I'll put Abreu a little ahead of him, but if we had picked Yoshida, I would not have had a problem with that. He was great, and it's good to see him starting to hit. We've been really hard on him. I think deservedly so.
Yeah, and we need him.
But yeah, it doesn't mean we're not rooting for him. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, I mean a lot of the get a right-handed bat talk. Like where is that right-handed bat gonna go? It's either going to be second base and platoon with like a David Hamilton, or it's going to be a DH and platoon with Yoshida, maybe even just take his job. Like that's when we talk right-handed bat, like those are the options. So it's big, not just for us as fans rooting for the team, but for him, because I mean, he wants to be in the lineup every day. He knows he's a really good player. He knows what he did for those 2 months last year. He wants to get back to that. So it's a start. I mean, he's been doing it for a while now. So let's transition over to the series preview here for the Royals here. This is a big series. Obviously, it's July drop date July 12th. So obviously plenty of time left in the season. They could get swept and they have plenty of time to make it up. But this is the team right now that you were fighting tooth and nail for that final playoff spot.
Stop saying that. Stop saying they could get swept. Stop mentioning that. Stressing me out.
All right. I will not.
They're not going to get swept.
I will not say they're going to get swept.
Okay.
The Royals are going to get swept.
Yeah.
But yeah, Royals game behind the Sox. Astros are 3. So this is the team that you're fighting with for that last spot right now, going to the All-Star break. Obviously, you want to have a good vibe going into the All-Star break. 2 years ago, they lost the series to the Yankees, and Chris Sale died before the All-Star break. Last year, they beat the A's going into the All-Star break. So I think things were feeling better, but they weren't in as good a spot as they're in right now. But I think vibes going into the break count. They matter. So I'll give you guys the matchups here. Actually, I'm just going to go through the Royals pitchers first because I'm just going to tell you the gauntlet they're facing here. First game, Cole Reagans. Second game, Seth Lugo. Third game, Brady Singer. Cole Reagans has a 3.28 ERA, but he's probably the best of the 3. Big strikeout lefty. These are exactly the guys that the Red Sox have had trouble with this year. Doesn't mean they can't beat him, but he's probably going to strike out double-digit Sox in this game. Second, Seth Lugo, 2.21 ERA. Making his case this year to start the All-Star game. So he's going on Saturday. And on Sunday, Brady Singer. He's got a 2.93 ERA. I've watched some of his starts. They don't quite feel fluky. As good as, feels a little bit fluky. Puts guys on base. He's got a good arm. He's a good pitcher. Definitely better than he was last year. Oh my God. Last year was a disaster for him. But Sox will have on Friday, it's TBD right now for the first game. But I think a lot of people think Cooper Criswell is going to get brought back up for this start. Josh Winkowski came out of the pen the other day. He is in the bullpen. He is not going to be starting this game unless it's more of an opener type deal. Second game, going up against Seth Lugo, they'll have Cutter Crawford, whose ERA is down to 3.24. He's coming off a great start against the Yankees. Didn't throw a ton of pitches. Saturday's game could be a battle. That'll be a fun one. Seth Lugo versus Cutter Crawford. Punch my ticket to that one. And then the third game going up against Brady Singer, it's Brian Bayo. Daytime Bayo will be finishing off the first unofficial first half for the Red Sox. Hitters to watch, really, it's just going to be Bobby Witt Jr., who on the season, let's pull this up here. Bobby Witt has a 931 OPS on the season. He also has an 1165 OPS in his last 12 games. He's one of the best players in baseball. Salvador Perez is also an all-star. He's got an 814 OPS this season. And keep an eye on Kyle Isbell, who's got a 922 OPS in his last 10 games. Royals bats have been hot. They scored 10, 8, and 6 runs in their last 3 games, all of which they won. They took a doubleheader against the Cardinals and had an off day on Thursday. So they'll be coming into this game fresh. But the good news, and a shout out I should have given a long time ago on this podcast, is that Chase Anderson, 3 innings, didn't fuck around. No one else had to get used. It was Tanner Houck to Chase Anderson. Enormous that the Red Sox bullpen will be able to match the Royal. In fact, they're more fresh than the Royals bullpen because the Royals bullpen, everyone had to go in the doubleheader on Wednesday. So Sox have guys like Slayton and Jansen didn't go at all in the A series. So it's going to be a good one. The Red Sox, I'm not saying they're getting swept here. I'm saying that it is a must don't get swept series, which should be, despite the pitching matchups, it should be fairly accomplishable. If you win 1 out of 3, you're tied for a playoff spot. You win 2 out of 3, you're 2 games up on a playoff spot. If you sweep, you're 4 games up on a playoff spot. God, I can't do math. But let's get into these series predictions here. Joe, do you want to come in and update us? I actually think only one of us got this series right. I don't want to brag because you guys all took sweeps. And I took
that's right. First off, just want to mention the attire I got on, which, Gordo, I firmly expect you to have this at your rehearsal dinner. I didn't get it. Yeah, this was the giveaway. For those that didn't know, this is the giveaway at Fenway, and it's a Hawaiian Red Sox shirt. And me and Pat were talking before the show, Gordo. this screams you. So next time I see you, I'm going to give this to you, and you will wear this at your rehearsal dinner.
You dog.
Oh, thanks for Pat. He brought up the idea for that one.
Yeah, hot dogs and socks logos.
It's got some socks. It's got a baseball Hawaiian sort of thing. Yeah, kind of hard to see.
All of you guys, my life.
But anyway, getting into the standings, Gordo, you are right. You are the only one that got a point because myself, Sammy, and Pat predicted a sweep. You correctly predicted 2 out of 3 and even got the sequence right. Of course, sequence doesn't count for a 3-game series, but you do get a point. So you broke the 3-way tie for second. So you're alone in second for 6. You're still chasing Sammy with 10, but tied for third is me and Pat with 5.
God, I will take my victory, but I won't be happy about it. I wish you guys had all gained on me, but I'll take it. Let's predict this series. God.
You start.
Sammy?
You start.
Nah. Okay, you know what? You're right, because I keep saying sweep, but they're not going to get swept. I think it's 1 out of 3. I think they go into the All-Star break tied. I think they take the middle game. I think Cutter shoves, but I think the Cole Reagans game, unfortunately, it feels like a scheduled loss to me. I just feel like he's going to dominate. And then I think they win game 2, and I think game 3 is the worst pitched game of the 3, but I just think the Royals might take this one. I don't know. I don't feel great about it.
Yo, that is so weak. I actually agree. I think the Red Sox win 1 out of 3. I think they win the middle game. I'm pretty much on the exact same page. The Reagans matchup is awful, but they beat Nick Lodolo, who's just as strikeout heavy and also left-handed. Might even say he has a higher ceiling than Reagans, but I wouldn't go that far. He's nasty. Very similar. It's not out of the question that they beat him, but if I'm being honest, I'll take 1 out of 3. I don't want to be a homer. It's just some tough matchups this weekend. So I think they win the middle game.
Sammy, do you remember it was the first Yankee series, and you and I were at the game. It was a Saturday. Carlos Rodon was pitching, and we're like, this is a scheduled loss. And they won that game. It was
I never say scheduled. I hate that term.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
It's a tough matchup. Yeah.
I feel like every time we have said this is the toughest of matchups, they're probably going to lose this game. They've got a bullpen game, and they've got their ace on the mound. And the Red Sox have won those games. So I hate the matchup, but the Red Sox might be 3-0 this year when I've said that. But let's see if Pat or Joe is any more optimistic than us. Pat, what do you think?
I'm on the same page with the Reagans. I would be stunned if they win that game. But I do think that Lugo and Singer have some fluky numbers going on. I think they get 2 out of 3, but I think they drop the Reagan start.
All right, that's fair.
I think Lugo is like, put him on fraud watch.
Yeah,
put that in print. Fraud watch. I think the Red Sox kick Lugo's ass.
And then Singer's just as volatile as Pivetta, except
that's a good comp.
Volatile ace and then volatile shit. He's been more on the ace side this year.
I feel the exact same watching their starts.
The difference between Singer's ERA and his FIP is almost an entire run. 0.89. His FIP is 3.82 and his ERA is 2.93. So you're not wrong when you say he's had some good luck. That doesn't mean he's not a really good pitcher. Yeah. I mean, he's got a friggin' 146 ERA plus. So he's been nasty this year. But we'll see.
I watch a lot of his games, and like if you just by the eye test, what would I guess his ERA is? I would say like 3.7, which is about what the FIP is. So like, yeah, he's not that guy. Hopefully the Red Sox can be the team that kind of they say water finds its level. Hopefully the Red Sox can be the team that does it. Joe, what do you got?
Man, you guys are such doubters on Reagans, thinking they're not going to win that one.
So are they going to sweep?
No, they're going to win 2 out of 3.
Oh, they're
going to go 2 out of 3,
bitch.
but they're going to win the Reagan start. They're going to win that start. I'm going to lock that down. I know you don't get points for the 3 games.
You got them winning tomorrow?
Let's go. They're going to win the Reagan start. I think they're going to lose Saturday, and then Sunday Sox don't lose.
Oh, so I predicted them to lose on a Sunday.
So I'm gonna go win, loss, win.
What's more powerful, daytime Bayo or Sunday Sox?
Sunday Sox.
Sunday Sox,
Sox.
dude. I think daytime
Okay.
Bayo. Actually, I think every Bayo's been bad this year, but I don't think daytime Bayo's been any worse than normal Bayo.
Daytime Bayo was the worst pitcher of all time last year. That was just brutal.
That
Is
was
there? Can we look up his splits for day games? Here, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to day.
Do it, and while we do it, Pat, you can run us into the next series, and we can interrupt it.
Crystal bomb.
Bomb it.
Bomb it. Joe, score update.
Gladly, because we had another history-making Crystal Bomb series. 2 consecutive pitches, 2 Crystal Bombs. Pat, Dom Smith, Sammy, Thick Willie launching it out of the yard. Gordo went with Sedan. He came close in game 2. He had one inches away at the monster, but that didn't count. And then me with my shot in the dark of Tyler O'Neill feels like he's never going to hit a home run again. So the standings have it at Gordo with 13. Sammy now only 1 behind with 12. Then you got Pat with 6, and then me with 2.
Boom.
Oh, okay. I don't want to go first here. Pat, pick someone else.
Rafi.
Oh, he's picking for himself.
Oh no, I'm going first. I'm picking Rafi. I've been sitting on this one because Sammy, you took it for the last Yankee series, and I was like,
Yeah, I can't take him. I can't take
Rafi in.
Yeah, no
when
Rafi.
Yeah, when there's blood on the line, when it's a series that matters, I think Rafi shows up.
Blood on the line. I love that. All right, you want me to go?
Yeah, Sammy, you go.
Oh, God, this is hard. I'm going to go with Yoshida. I'm going to ride the hot bat. Home run in each of the last 2 series. Big one today, Thursday, as we record. 900 feet in the air, approximately. So I'm going to go with Yoshida. And I'm going for the tie with Gordo this series.
Oh, no.
You hear those footsteps, baby.
All right. I'm gonna have to go with the hot bat, the hot home run bat. It's kind of it's what I have to do. I could have if I had been thinking on my feet, I could have picked Rafi. I had the pick. I'll have to save it. I'm gonna go with Wilyer Abreu. Hit 2 home runs in the series. I am absolutely riding him right now. Joe, pick yours. Get me out of here.
No, I want you to keep explaining, please.
Yeah, how are you riding him?
I'm just gonna ride him. Just gonna ride
Gordo,
him.
Did you learn about anything before the podcast today? Anyway, all right.
Okay, I'll make my pick. I'll let Gordo off on this one. This
Make your pick.
This one's kind of hard because I feel like everyone I want to pick is on a cold stretch right now. I tweeted like Duran's only hitting 211 in the month of July. Sedan, I don't feel good about the matchups against Kansas City. I think, you know what? I am going to go with Connor Wong. I think Wong found his swing, launched one 420 feet in game 3. I feel like he's due for a big time moment. So I'll go with Wonger.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Sammy, can you do it?
I'll try. All right. Oh, everyone's favorite segment. Only winners, no losers. Gordo, what are you Googling?
I'm trying to find a player. I have to find a player for the segment.
All right, you want to do your noise?
For those of you who don't know, I got locked out of my apartment, so I didn't get to do my normal chia prep.
All right, so we're picking a player on the Royals. I'm gonna say no Benintendi, no Schreiber. That's too easy.
No
Anyone
Franchi.
else I want to ban? Yeah, and I guess no Franchi. And let's not do Brandon Moss because we had him last week as a Oakland A's. Guys being dudes. I didn't even introduce the segment. I was laughing too much. The segment is called Guys Being Dudes. All right. So, Pat, give me a player who played for both the Boston Red Sox and the Kansas City Royals.
I am going to go with Monster trade deadline acquisition. World Series champion, Gold Glover, Eric Hosmer.
Yeah,
You said World Series champion. I thought you were about to say like Red Sox World Series. Nope. Just a Royals World Series champion.
That guy had like a good career, but all the analytics nerds hate him. They're like, he fucking hit the ball into the ground too much. Okay, he still had a good career, man. I mean, he's like
women love him. Analytics hate him.
He's a good-looking guy. I wouldn't be surprised if women loved him, but
that's a good one. So bad. I wanted him so badly when he was a free agent.
Dude's gonna be in cologne ads. Women love him. Analytics hate him. Eric
Show some nerd at his computer. God dang it!
And they call it
Hosmer.
They call it Hosmopolitan.
His Wolf is 290. This guy sucks.
Makes my leather.
Feel the breeze. Swing and miss.
Swing on your swing. Okay,
no,
that's a good one. Eric Hosmer, Gordo, give me something good.
I am going to go with a player who almost made history for the Red Sox. He threw 26 consecutive scoreless innings and was later traded for Adalberto Mondesi, who didn't play a single game. I'm going with Josh Taylor. The guy looked like he worked at Target, but he would come into games and he would shut.
Why does he look like he works at Target?
I don't know. Look up a picture. He just does.
I can see it.
Dude, and he's just like
he's not well kept.
Can I show you? Yeah, he's not well kept. He wants to show you to the electronics section so you can unlock the door and you can pick out your video games and whatnot. But he'll shut thy ass down for 26 straight innings, and then he got hurt and forgot how to pitch. But hey, they got Alberto Mondesi for him. I was big on that trade. It didn't end up working. But Josh Taylor stung for the Royals too. So, but yeah, Josh Taylor, shout out.
Yeah, he was not bad for a while. All right, you guys probably already know who I'm picking. I talk about this guy all the time. There's Josh Taylor.
Sleepy Jim Magoo.
Not Sleepy Jim Magoo. I'm picking. Is that a guy? Jim Magoo? Is that a real player?
No.
Okay. My player is he certainly was on both of these teams. His name is Alan McDill.
Oh, I was close. I got the Mick right.
Alan McDill. He made his major league debut in 1997 at the age of 25. He pitched for the Royals for 2 seasons, 10 games with an 11.7 ERA. Then he moved on to a divisional team, the Tigers, pitched 13 games with them for a 7.2 ERA. So he's put together an 11.7 and a 7.2 ERA season. So the Red Sox said, get me Alan McDill. He comes to Boston, and he actually improved a little bit, but he was still terrible. 5.52 ERA over 14.2 glorious innings, 16 strikeouts, so at least he's striking guys out. And actually, his FIP was 4.28, so maybe he got a little screwed by the defense, maybe. Show some love to my guy, Alan McDill, 2001 Red Sox alumni. There he is. You might remember him for being Alan McDill.
Oh yeah.
And that's my pick. Big Dill.
The Big McDill. Oh, do I wish they still had the Big McDill today. This team would be in World Series. Like we talk about the wild card, they'd be in World Series contention right now. We'd be talking ship.
They'd be called the Boston McDills.
Yeah. God, yeah. They'd be giving away like McDill pickle merchandise at the ballpark. That would be they'd be giving away pickle hats. That'd be the next giveaway.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
People will love it. Big number 46, Alan Gabriel McDill, born August 23rd, 1971. We will never forget him.
Never forget.
Big Gabriel.
Big Gabriel.
Oh boy, yeah, Alan McDill. He made let's see, quick math. He made $720,000 playing in Major League Baseball. It's a lot of money.
Good cash.
It's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 94 of Play Tessie. Before you go do something else, hit that subscribe button, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or the Odyssey app. Hit the subscribe button, rate us 5 stars. We really appreciate when you guys do that. You can check us out on YouTube at the WEI channel. We've got a Play Tessie playlist. You can hit the thumbs up on those videos. We love when you guys do that. Remember, socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram. Can't miss stuff, can't miss clips from the show, videos with us talking to the players. It's good stuff on those social accounts. So if you're not following, make sure to do it. We've got another episode coming at you tomorrow. The trade deadline is approaching, and we are going to be talking about it. So keep your eye on your feeds. But till tomorrow, till next time, go Sox. Take this series against the Royals. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Peace.